The Solitude Sentinel.
In the dense fog that perpetually hugged the Appalachian foothills, Officer Eleanor Barkley, famously known as the Guardian with her gleaming .44 Magnum, patrolled the winding roads alone. Her colleagues often murmured about the unnerving calmness that encased her whenever she ventured out into the abyss of the night. Eleanor's routes were always cloaked in an enigmatic tranquility, though known to harbor ominous secrets in the suffocating darkness. One damp evening, as she traversed the serpentine roadway, a shadowy figure emerged from the dense mist, making her heart stutter momentarily. Despite her initial jolt of fear, she approached, weapon drawn, voice steady but wary. "Police! Identify yourself!" The figure, an elderly woman, gnarled and bent, whispered, "Beware the souls that tread these paths, for they have known only betrayal and pain." Eleanor, firm in her resolve yet puzzled by the woman's cryptic warning, prodded for more, but in a blink, the woman dissipated into the engulfing fog, leaving behind a haunting chill. As Eleanor continued, peculiar occurrences unnerved even her steeled nerves. An eerily lit lantern swung violently from a barren tree. Disembodied voices whispered her name, and an unmistakable feeling of being observed pricked at her skin. The .44 Magnum, a usual source of comfort and power, now felt inconsequential against the unseen threats lurking in the darkness. Then, a chilling scream pierced the silent night. Eleanor, driven by her duty, sprinted towards the sound, finding a man suspended mid-air, his eyes wide with an amalgam of horror and disbelief. His life was being siphoned away by an invisible force until his body crumpled lifelessly onto the road. The air pulsated with malevolent energy as Eleanor stared down the unseen entity. "I am Officer Eleanor Barkley, and you will torment no more souls on these roads." Words from an ancient dialect resonated around her, and she realized it was the malevolent speaking, declaring its reign of terror as eternal, challenging her futile defiance. Unperturbed, Eleanor raised her magnum, whispering an incantation that her grandmother, a well-known medium, had taught her for protection against spectral entities. A blinding light enveloped the barrel of her weapon, and with unwavering resolve she fired into the abyss before her. An unearthly wail reverberated as the energy receded, the darkness lifting, replaced by a tranquil calm. Eleanor, solitary but mighty, continued her patrol, now not only a guardian against the tangible threats, but also a sentinel shielding the living from the malevolence that loomed in the unseen. Eleanor Barkley became a legend, the Solitude Sentinel, a protector against both earthly and spectral perils. Stories of her bravery echoed through generations, ensuring that her spirit, emboldened by duty and fearlessness, lingered protectively over the mountainous road she once patrolled. The ethereal guardianship of Officer Barkley, with her .44 Magnum forever gleaming in the spectral moonlight, became a tale of comfort to those who dared traverse the once menacing paths of the Appalachian foothills. Weeks melded into months, and Eleanor Barkley found herself cemented in an unsettling routine. Her encounters with the supernatural became commonplace, yet her resolve never flickered. The roadways, once bustling with activity and life, now lay desolate, with only the courageous few daring to tread upon them, guided by the whispered tales of the Solitude Sentinel. One mist-laden night, Eleanor met a wanderer, a man weary from years of searching, lost within the intertwining paths of the foothills. He spoke of a daughter, abducted by an entity that fed off the souls of the living, one that had evaded Eleanor's righteous wrath. The anguish in his eyes, a reflection of countless nights plunged in despair, sparked a kinship within Eleanor. This entity, veiled in the shadowy recesses of the supernatural realm, had eluded her protection and siphoned away innocent lives. The man, whose name was etched away by years of torment, joined Eleanor on a treacherous journey, navigating through the spectral fog and unsettling silence. They were led by the flickering lanterns of lost spirits, souls lingering in perpetual sorrow, guiding them toward the abyss of malevolence. Deep within the veiled darkness, they found the entity, a vortex of anguish and despair, surrounded by the echoes of tortured souls. Eleanor, revolver raised, could feel the spectral anguish enveloping her, whispers of despair attempting to fray her determination. Eleanor gritted against the torment and whispered reassurances to the spirits ensnared by the entity. Her voice, a beacon of solace, penetrated the darkness, providing a glimmer of peace to the restless souls. With an unwavering hand, she fired a .44 Magnum, now imbued with the collective hopes of the wronged spirits, into the heart of the malevolence. A cacophony of wails and gratitude echoed as the entity writhed and dissipated into ethereal wisps. Amongst the dispersing darkness, a silhouette materialized. A young woman, eyes gleaming with posthumous serenity, extending a hand towards the weary wanderer. Father and daughter, united in an ephemeral moment, whispered farewells and unspoken love before she too dissipated, finding peace beyond the spectral veil. The once oppressive atmosphere lifted, replaced by a tranquil hush, as Eleanor and the wanderer exited the abyss, the spirits of the wronged finally at rest. Back on the winding roads, Eleanor, forever the Solitude Sentinel, continued her eternal vigil. Her legend whispered through hallowed breezes and echoed in the silent sobs of the mountainous paths. And the wanderer, now sheltered by the memory of a final farewell, dedicated his remaining days to sharing the tale of Eleanor Barkley, a timeless guardian against the tangible and the unseen, her spirit forever patrolling the spectral byways of the Appalachian foothills. The story spoke of her courage, of protection against the encroaching darkness, and of her .44 Magnum, ever gleaming in the eternal twilight, a beacon of hope amidst the despair of the unseen. The tales of Eleanor's victories and the salvation of trapped spirits whispered across the land, crossing oceans of reality and spectral plains. Despite her triumphs, the otherworldly phenomena on the mountainous paths did not cease entirely. New entities, drawn perhaps by the remnants of despair that had once thrived there, began to seep into existence, prompting Eleanor to guard not only the living but also the peace of the departed. In a hamlet nestled amidst the mountains, a family trapped in a generational curse sought the legendary Solitude Sentinel as their youngest. A girl of mere 7 winters began to manifest signs of spectral possession. Her eyes, once vibrant with childhood innocence, now glowed with a malevolent gleam, and her voice echoed with the pains of spirits long perished. Eleanor, though a spectral entity herself, felt a tether to the living world through the .44 Magnum she'd wielded in life. It pulsed with an energy that defied the realms of existence, anchoring her essence between worlds. It became not only a weapon, but a conduit through which she could interact with the tangible world. Upon reaching the cursed homestead, Eleanor was met with a sight of chaotic spiritual turbulence. The young girl, now a vessel for a horde of tormented spirits, levitated, her voice a symphony of wails and pleas from souls unjustly damned. Her parents, paralyzed by a combination of love and dread, whispered prayers, their voices cracking under the weight of despair. Eleanor approached, her ethereal presence casting a calm over the spiritual tempest. The spirits, sensing her unyielding resolve, hesitated, an unspoken understanding fluttering through the spectral chaos. She spoke softly, her voice permeating the realms. "Release her, and find salvation beyond the veils of torment." Yet, amongst the spirits, a malevolence lingered, feasting on the despair and chaos. It resisted, lashing out, causing the atmosphere to convulse with spectral agony. Eleanor, wielding her .44 Magnum, channeled the energies of protection and salvation through it, offering the tormented spirits a path to peace while shackling the malevolence. A spectral ballet unfolded as spirits, once bound by torment, were guided towards peace by Eleanor's unspoken promise, leaving behind the malevolence, now weakened without the despair upon which it feasted. With a steadiness that defied realms, Eleanor dispatched the malevolence with a shimmering bullet. cleansing the young girl of the spiritual turbulence. Her body gently descended, landing in a peaceful slumber, free from the spectral chaos. In the wake of the spiritual battle, Eleanor perceived a shift, a gentle light permeating through the spectral veil, offering her a choice to move beyond or remain the eternal guardian. Eleanor chose the latter, for her spirit, intertwined with tales of hope and spectral salvation, had become a beacon for those desperate for a protector against the unseen. Through whispered stories and echoed legends, Eleanor Barkley, the Solitude Sentinel, remains an eternal guardian, her spirit forever entwined with the desolate paths of the Appalachian foothills, and her .44 Magnum, forever gleaming through realms, a symbol of unyielding protection against the spectral abyss. Her tales continue to be shared around campfires and in hushed bedtime stories, inspiring generations to find courage amidst despair and to stand unwavering against the unseen malevolence that lurks in the shadows of existence.